What's up, y'all? Bill Cammack, BillCQC.com. Viewer Richard uploaded this session and I mixed it, and I also added a beat to it. I wanted to run through it real quick, show you guys some elements of it. Also, I'm using a modification to the Logic graphical user interface that viewer Johnny put us up on. I think it looks pretty cool. So let's check it out.
I'm gonna pick up the pieces and build a Lego house. If things go wrong, we can knock it down.
Alright, first of all, the reason these are all cut up is that way you can see what's going on. So I use green for drums, which in this case I'm using a loop from Logic. Blue is guitars. Yellow is vocals. Even though I have actual yellow as lead vocals and this off yellowish thing as my background vocals. I have my sub mixes or buses as black, sub drums, guitars, lead vocals, background vocals. My effects returns are here, reverb and delay. Got platinum verb on this one, tape delay on this one. My output, master control.
My three words have two meanings. There's one thing on my mind. It's all for you. And it's dark in the cold December, but I got you to keep me warm. And if you're broken, I won't mend you, but I'll keep you sheltered from the storm that's raging on now. I'm out of touch, I'm out of love. I'll pick you up when you're getting down. And out of all these things I've done, I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I'll do it all for you in time. And out of all these things I've done, I think I love you better now. Now, I'm gonna paint you by numbers and color you in. If things go right, we can frame it and put you on a wall.
Alright, first of all, up here I have my drum loop. First thing this is coming through is sats and channel. The point is to try to get around 0 here. That's why my gain is down a little lower than unity, which would be here. You don't really want to pin it unless you're going for a particular effect. You want the peaks to be somewhere around 0. No high pass on it, no low pass, just let it come through. The distortion is on, but it does not have fat distortion on it. It just sounds different. You may or may not be able to hear it if I turn it on. Next is coming through tape head. Tape head is distortion or saturation, depending on how you see it. I'm bypassing it. Next is going through EQ. Not much EQ. Just took some mids out, bypassing. Alright, I can't personally hear a lot from that, but that's the whole drum track right there. Next up is acoustic guitar. First up, we're coming through Saxon again. This time we're a lot higher than Unity because, as you can see from the waveform, it's really low compared to this, so you want to boost it. I have a lot of low pass on it. I'm taking out a lot of the highs from this. I actually have a lot of high pass on it also. I'm taking a lot of the bass sound out of it as well, bypassing. And it's going to sound different obviously because this level is a lot lower than this one. But you can still tell the difference in the texture. Next up is the vocals.
I'm gonna pick up the pieces and build a Lego house. If things go wrong, you can knock it down. I'm gonna pick up the pieces and build a Lego house. If things go wrong, you can knock it down. I'm gonna pick up the pieces and build a Lego house. If things go wrong, you can knock it down.
Alright, you're hearing that static sound because it's in the recording. It's recorded really low. Again, you can see with the waveforms, these are really low versus the drums are really high. This is recorded with a lot of static in it. The reason it's cutting out is because I cut it out in between the actual singing. If I hadn't, the static would stay on.
I'm gonna pick up the pieces and build a Lego house. If things go wrong, you can knock it down. I'm gonna pick up the pieces and build a Lego house. If things go wrong, you can knock it down. I'm gonna pick up the pieces and build a Lego house. If things go wrong, you can knock it down.
Same thing, we got our gain up. Let's try to get somewhere near 0.
Pick up the pieces and build a Lego
No high pass, low pass letting them come through.
If things go wrong,
I opted for that on this one. Basically what Fat does is add harmonics, which basically gives some extra sounds to it. I can't really explain it, but it either sounds good or it doesn't. That's how you choose to use it or not.
I'm gonna pick up the pieces and build a Lego house. If things go wrong, we can knock it down.
Next up is tape head. Give it that distortion, overdrive.
If things go wrong, we can knock it down. I'm gonna pick up the pieces and build a Lego house. If things go wrong, we can knock it down. I'm gonna pick up the pieces and build a Lego
Next up is the EQ.
house. If things go wrong, we can knock it down. I'm gonna pick up the pieces and build a Lego house.
Drive is on.
Things go wrong, we can knock
Wow
it
is
down.
also on. It's working a little bit.
I'm gonna pick up the pieces and build a Lego house. If things go wrong, we can knock it down.
Got a compressor on it.
Pick up the pieces and build a Lego house. If things go wrong, we can knock it down.
Point of the compressor is, you see here it gets lower, and then it gets higher. You want it to sound uniform.
If things go
So when it comes through, you want it coming in somewhere between here and here.
I'm gonna pick up the pieces and build a Lego house.
Even things out.
If things go wrong, we can knock it down. I'm gonna pick up the pieces and build a Lego house. If things go wrong, we can knock it down. I'm gonna pick up the pieces and build a Lego house. If things go wrong, we can knock it down. My three words have two meanings. There's one thing on my mind.
Got the backup vocals coming in over here.
And it's dark in a cold December, but I got you to keep me warm. It's all for you. 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 It's all for you.
Alright, these are our background vocals over here. We got this pan down the middle. We got this pan left and right. Same deal with all three of these. Sats in. Middle doesn't have any saturation on it from tape head. Left and right do.
It's all for you. I ain't gonna go December, but I got you to keep me warm.
Alright, here comes our second acoustic guitar here.
Raging on now. Not gonna go December, but I got you to keep me warm. And if you're broken, I won't mend you, but I keep you sheltered from the storm that's raging on now. And it's dark in a cold December, but I got you to keep me warm. And if you're broken, I won't mend you, but I keep you sheltered from the storm that's raging on now. And it's dark in a cold December, but I got you to keep me warm.
Alright, so coming through Satson. little bit of high pass, get it out of the way of the kick. A little bit of low pass, get it out of the way of the highs from the vocal. We got the gain pushing it around 0. It's pinning it a little bit on some of the higher ones. You do have this clip meter here. Even if it goes off, sometimes it still even sounds good, so it doesn't really matter. But if you're really pinning it, this will light up. Fat is not on. Got EQ, we got some mid going on, around 1100. Sounds a little brighter with the EQ in. We also have spread on it. What this is doing is, there's the bass over here, there's treble over here. So what it's doing is taking something that's basically a mono signal, or even a stereo signal that isn't really very stereo, and what it'll do is it'll wave it and decide this goes to the left, this goes to the right. It kind of fakes it being in stereo. I'm going to bypass it. Turn it back on. Again, we have a compressor on it, evening out the levels.
But I got you to keep me warm, warm. And if you're broken, I won't mend you, but I'll keep you sheltered from the storm that's raging on.
Also, this is sending to bus 21. Bus 21 is over here, which is the tape delay. I bypass this. Turn it back on. Got some low cut in here. Take the bass out of it. 100% wet.
From the storm that's raging on now. And it's dark in a cold December, but I got you to keep me warm, warm. And if you're broken, I won't mend you, but I'll keep you sheltered from the storm that's raging on now. And it's dark in a cold December.
Alright, and you'll also notice that sometimes the vocal echoes and sometimes it doesn't.
And if you're broken, I won't mend you.
That's because the vocal is going to bus 3. Bus 3 is the lead vocal bus. That's outputting to bus 21 also, which is the same tape delay. When this turns on green, it's sending. When it's off, it's not sending.
But I keep you sheltered from the storm that's raging on. And it's dark and
So if I turn this off,
to keep me warm.
nothing happens.
And if you're broken, I won't mend ya, but I keep you sheltered from the storm that's raging on. And it's dark in a cold December, but I got you to keep me warm. And if you're broken, I won't mend ya, but I keep you sheltered from the storm that's raging on.
Now the reason that's turning on and off is because it's automated. So if I go over here, hit my A for automation,
I won't mend ya, but I keep you sheltered from the storm that's raging on. And it's dark in a cold December, but I got you to keep me warm. And if you're broken, I won't mend ya, but I keep you sheltered from the storm that's raging on. And it's dark in a cold December, but I got you to keep me warm.
Alright, here we go.
And if you're broken,
I got my sub-lead Vox. This is my send to the delay.
And it's dark in a cold December, but I got you to keep me warm.
So when it says warm, it comes on.
And if you're broken, I won't mend ya, but I keep you sheltered from the storm that's raging on.
Raging on, it comes on.
Dark in a cold December, but I got you to keep me warm. And if you're broken, I won't mend ya, but I keep you sheltered from the storm that's raging on. And it's dark in a cold December, but I got you to keep me warm. And if you're broken, I won't mend ya, but I keep you sheltered from the storm that's raging on. And it's dark in a cold
Alright, there we go.
December, but I got you to keep me warm.
The green comes on when the orange goes up high.
But I keep you sheltered from the storm that's raging on. And it's dark in a cold December, but I got you to keep me warm. And if you're broken, I won't mend ya, but I keep you sheltered from the storm that's raging on. And it's dark in a cold December, but I got you to keep me warm. And if you're broken, I won't mend ya, but I keep you sheltered from the storm that's raging on. And it's dark in a cold December, but I got you to keep me warm.
So you see we got automation around here, all around here.
Raging on. And down, and out of all these things I've done, I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I'll do it all for you in time. And out of
Echo coming on when it hits here.
I think I love you better now. I'm gonna paint you by numbers and colors.
This section needed to be automated because you can see how these levels go off the charts here. We need to duck that.
And it's so hard to say it, but I've been it before. Now I surrender up my heart on a wall. And it's so hard to say
You see this dip?
it, but I've been it before. Now I surrender up my heart and swap it for yours. And it's so hard to say it, but I've been it before. Now I surrender up my heart and swap it for yours. I'm out of touch, I'm out of love. I'll pick you up when you're getting down. And out of all these things I've done, I think I love you better now.
Now these guitars weren't played to a click, or if they were played to a click, they weren't played correctly to a click. So they don't actually match up. I mean, they do now because I flexed them, but if you loop it,
I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I think I love you better.
I go get my flex.
I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I think I love you mind. I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind.
You can move this stuff around.
Now I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I think I love you better now.
On this part down here, this is an acoustic guitar, but when it plays through, it sounds like an electric guitar. That is because if you come over here, we're listening to this amp designer right here. I'll take it out. And again, it's going through this bus. And the same guitar is back here. But you see the amp designer is off. At some point in here, it gets automated on. There it goes. It's gonna turn on. So then when it gets down here, it's electric. Stereo spread on it. Assassin channel on it. quite a bit actually, because as you can see, there's a lot of fluctuation here in the volume of these waves. You want them to be evened out. Two bus or a mixed bus, got sats and bus. Again, you don't want this pinned, you don't want this clipping. You can turn fat on if you want to. I thought it sounded better without it.
I'm out of love. I'll pick you up when you're getting down. And out of all these things I've done, I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I'll do it all for you in time. And out of all these things I've done, I think I love you better now. I'm out of touch, I'm out of love. I'll pick you up
some EQ on the way out.
And out of all these things I've done, I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I'll do it all for you in time. And out of all these things I've done, I think I love you better now. I'm out of touch, I'm out of love. I'll pick you up when you're getting down. And out of all the things I've done, I will love you better now.
Last thing, we've got our backup vocals.
I'm out of love. I'll pick you up when you're getting down. And out of all the things I've done, I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I'll do it all for you in time. And out of all the things I've done, I think I love you better. I'm out of touch, I'm out of love. I'll pick you up when you're getting down. And out of all the things I've done, I think I love you better now. I'm out of touch, I'm out of love.
Same deal as usual. Satson, tape head, EQ, on the bus I'm using Free G. The gain plug-in. Using the trim instead of this volume slider. Same effect.
Touch, I'm out of love. I'll pick you up when you're getting down. And out of all the things I've done, I think I love you better now. I'm out of touch, I'm out of love. I'll pick you up when you're getting down. And out of all the things I've done, I think I love you better now. I'm out of touch, I'm out of love. I'll pick you up when you're getting down. And out of all the things I've done, I think I love you better now. out of touch, I'm out of love. I'll pick you up when you're getting down. And out of all the things I've done, I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I'll do it all for you in time. And out of all the things I've done, I think I love you better now.
That's pretty much it.
I'm out of love.
BillCammack.com, BillCQC.com, Facebook, Google Plus. Catch me out there. Peace.
I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I'll do it all for you in time. And out of all the things I've done, I think I love you better now. I'm out of touch, I'm out of love. I'll pick you up when you're getting down. And out of all the things I've done, I will love you better now.